15 participants. There are 72 participants in the conference.
Next step issues are ones that are actually at the core of what this group was founded around. We were waiting for the audit to come back on the procedures for both labs. We do have that now, so we can start actively pursuing some of these other testing items. And what we have before you now is our proposed language. So these 8 pages are a reflection of the 4 points that we went over, and so the group had a chance to review these and go over it and make any proposed last-minute changes. There are a couple items in here that the board may want to address, specifically the one item where there was not consensus among a flat requirement for 4 grams and half-gram instruments or a graduated number 1 gram samples. But this is the language that we have before you today. So I'll turn it over to Jed and Sarah to speak. Are there any sections of this that you think particularly closely at, or it's offered for to go out for public comment?
Are we at the point where this would be ready as it is to go out for public comment? I sort of got the impression that this was at the beginning, so it would go to law to be looked at, and then maybe have to come back to us before we put it out for public comment. I sort of got the impression from Ms. Melks that this would need to be reviewed by law before it went out for public comment. So I was just wondering how much we wanted to spend on this today, if it's going to come back to us revised by law at maybe another meeting, and we just say, yes, we want to open a regulation project, this is a good start, we're not ready to go out for public yet. So that's more of a status. Sure, shorten this thing down a little bit.
Thank you, and through the chair, that's entirely up to you. You can ask the Department of Law to pre-review it or to review it and have it come back to you. That's just under the next meeting. If you're satisfied with the form and content, you put it out now.
So the chair, Mr. Jones, I guess the question is if, how do you feel about it, or how does the rest of the board feel? You guys had significant time to review this and feel that we can open the project on it and accept the language, put it out for comment, or would you like more time to turn this into a reg project, review it, and bring it back at a later date? I myself have read it multiple times. I think it's good. But again, it's up to this board as a body whether it goes out as is or it gets a further review.
My basic question is, as you state, there's a lot more work that the testing group needs to do. And I guess I would be comfortable if this portion got pre-reviewed by law, and that unless there's a significant reason to break it up, I would rather not have a regulation project followed by a regulation project, followed by a regulation project, followed by a regulation project, all dealing with testing, and having four different sets of regs out at maybe the same time or sort of in sequence, without sort of understanding that if we put this out for public comment, in the next phase, the testing group won't be asking us to revise this. I'm just sort of uncomfortable with a big topic of testing, and having seen the mistakes we apparently made the first go-round, or that we need to correct because of the way it works. So I guess I would be comfortable with this having some kind of pre-review and seeing if in August there's any additional before we start going out to public comment.
Okay, and the review is just for consistency, and we're not looking for scientific.
Well, I remember one of the ideas was to reference a standard, or set a standard by reference, or whether we do a guidance letter or thing like that. And as Milk said, well, it would certainly have to be backed to some regulation elsewhere. When I've been familiar, when you cite a standard, you might cite a standard of a national organization, but then that has generally been part of a federal law or standard practice, like a nurse's practice, or what's the scope of practice, something that automatically changes, and you need to be clear about that. That was one she made that she would like to reference. I don't necessarily see that in here, but it may be coming. The whole sample size is one that talks about a guidance, not put it in the regulation. I'd like law to weigh in. Is there some reference out there that we could legally use that made sense? So that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Sorry. That seems like the director has something to add.
Well, I just wanted to, I appreciate hearing Mr. Jones' perspective, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the perspective that we've been working on, or that the office has kind of been thinking. There are a lot of issues, and some of them are more difficult, some of them I don't really want to call any of them easy, but we had kind of been working off the assumption that we would sort of take chunks and move them forward through the regulation process so that there wasn't that we could get kind of the low-hanging fruit out of the way, and so that there wasn't such a giant project for people to respond to at the end. We have tried to be cognizant of the kind of double editing issue, where if we're making a change to a particular section and it's out of regulation, we can't really start another regulation project on that same section. So we've tried to be careful about that and not propose a change to a section that we think, well, in 2 months we're going to have another change to that section. But we were kind of thinking that sort of parceling the changes up in manageable chunks as the group developed the recommendations was going to be easier for everybody. And so, perhaps that's not sort of what works for you, Mr. Jones, but I just wanted to let you know kind of how we were thinking about it.
Yeah, I just didn't want to get in a situation where we were reviewing this and suddenly there was another change. I mean, we've done that a couple of times by mistake. Not that we planned that way. So, and I appreciate that as well.
And I'm just looking through here, I don't see anything adopted or proposed to be adopted by reference, but I do see numerous references to guidelines. I've already advised you that's going to be an issue. But in this particular industry, if that's best you can do, then that might have to be the best you can do. I can't tell you right now whether that's going to be acceptable or not. I think it could be feasible for you all to have public comment on that. I don't see anything here that would necessarily cause us to come back to you from the Department of Law with any fatal flaws.
Mr. Jones, to the Chair, as Director McConnell stated, we were looking at bringing this to you in SET. If you'll recall, the original giant regulations were done in SET. We brought them to you in SET, and then you ended up adopting the entire project all as one at the end. But there have been concerns addressed by industry, by public health and safety, in the audit, and we were really hoping, the group was hoping to bring forward recommendations that the board could move forward with, in that so that we could address some of the immediate concerns more quickly. And so that was our thinking, as Director McConnell kind of stated.
And I appreciate that, and that helps alleviate some of my concerns. At the same time, as Mr. Emmett said, we were waiting on the audit. And the reason for the testing group was there was a lot of concern that the testing results were not allowing us to understand that products really were safe and the doses that we wanted, or however, we weren't sure we were getting all of that. This doesn't deal with any of that yet. Mrs. Coyle raised the issue of, and said something about, Washington or someplace had sort of gone to almost like a central lab or something like that. That's not part of this. So that's just all flowing through my brain, and I won't slow anything down other than I just wanted to make sure that you all understood that, I feel much more comfortable if I know we're not going to come back and have to revisit this again because we got to.
And through the chair, Mr. Jones, that is really something that the staff brought to my attention was that when we are looking through these regulations, we want to make as reasonably certain as we can that all of the sections that might be affected by our action here are referenced, and so that kind of expanded the scope of what you see here. But we are reasonably certain that what we have here should not have to completely loop back around when we address other sections of the regulations as we stated in the what to come. So this was the low-hanging fruit. This was stuff that we felt as a body that we could knock out. We could show the board that we are working and getting things done, but was not what was included in the actual accuracy testing and those sort of things. So I'm fairly confident with the 8 pages we have before you.
Okay, so based on that, Mr. Jones, do you have any objections to just seeing if we get a motion to send the regular draft out? Okay, because this is one question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The one thing that isn't in here specifically that would require, I think, a decision by you today is choosing one of the two options on the amount of samples and sample size required to be submitted to the testing facility. So we presented you with two options. You can either choose one of those two options or choose the third option that you come up with today. That's the one thing that we would need you to kind of make a decision on that would help the working group and these regulations forward.
Then I have a clarifying question that I need to answer, and that's something I mentioned to Mr. Miller earlier toward the end of lunch. This, if I look at the chart that you have, it goes from 1 pound batch to 10 pound batch. And I was always, I guess, under the assumption that, we tell a grower, they can't sell more than 5 pound batch, right? And that's part of the thing. So if they were selling bud flour to a retail for deli style, max is 5 pounds. So if we're talking about that size as harvest size, 10 pounds, then I was always under the assumption that the sample for testing came out of the batch, which would be 5 pounds, not 10. So if you had a harvest of 40 pounds, and you were going to sell it all as deli style, you basically had, if it's 40 pounds, you'd have 8 batches of 5 pounds each. So, and I thought a sample for testing came out of each of those. So that was the question, when you can go beyond 5 pounds as a batch size, that doesn't seem to jive with you can only sell it as 5 pounds.
Mr. Jones, through the chair, if you look on page 10 of your tab, one of the proposed changes to the regulation would to include in or amend the definition of batch or harvest batch to state that the harvest batch should not exceed 10 pounds. So the proposal of the group is a modification to that 5 pound limit. The feedback that we heard from the scientific testing community, the various state labs, and our licensed testing facilities, is that they were less concerned about the maximum size of the harvest batch as long as the amount of sample submitted for each harvest batch was representative, and that's where the graduated scale, graduated table came from.
Sure. Yeah, page 10 of 11 here on the browser, not actually, it's labeled as page 8 on the actual form. And so, for a bit of clarification,
but that doesn't reference back to, well, maybe it does.
So, currently, at least this is my understanding, so a harvest, like the actual harvest, currently can be any size. You can have a harvest of a pound or up to 100 pounds, so long as it's all done at the same time, under the same conditions, with the same amendments, and so this this clarifies what an actual batch or harvest batch, and it means specifically identified quantity of bud and flower plant, trim, leaf, and other usable product from marijuana plants that has been segregated into a specific grade as required by 3A336.45B and does not exceed 10 pounds. So the harvest itself could still be 40 or 50 pounds, but the batches have to fall into one of the grades and not exceed 10 pounds. Is that
okay? But then for me, then if I understand the way we track that 10 pounds would get a batch number, right? But then you go to 3AAC 306-470, and it says marijuana cultivation facility shall package its marijuana, bud and flower for sale, 1B, in a wholesale package not exceeding 5 pounds for repacking. So then, if you had a batch number for 10 pounds for testing, and you got to create a sub-batch, and then end up with 2 batch numbers related back to the 10 pounds before you could put it out. But you don't reference that here, and you don't change it. So, anyway, maybe that's something in public comments, but that would be that, again, I'm not sure we've gone back and referenced that. So if the cultivator can't, by regulation, sell it in greater than 5 and test it in 10, through the tracking system, they will end up with 3 numbers for the same amount of product.
Mr. Jones, to the chair, if the board is interested in us amending 470 to reflect that, we can as well. If you look at page 3 of the tab, which is page 1 of the proposed regulation changes, that is where we are removing the language in the current language in 435, or proposing to remove the current language in 435, which limits harvest batches to 5 pounds. You're correct. The draft proposed to change the transportation for sale to be greater than 5 pounds. But our regulations also say that a harvest batch can be 5 pounds. That has to be tested, and then from that harvest batch you could have a pound of trim that would go one place that would require a different inventory tracking number, a pound of bud that would require a different inventory tracking number. So harvest batches are already, at least my understanding, industry, please correct me if I'm wrong, but harvest batches are already being divided up into separate, to have separate tags for transportation.
Okay, maybe we'll get other public comments, but that was my concern, that if we're increasing the batch size and then trying to make sure we get the right samples, and if so.
Okay. So we want to make a motion here.
And one more thing, just for clarification, so that the board does need to decide which one of these recommendations we're going to go with, come up with its own recommendation. After further review, I think that recommendation number 2, a graduated number of 1 gram samples based on total harvest batch size, the minimum requirement of 4 1 gram samples requiring 0.35% of each harvest batch to be submitted for testing as seen in Table A on page 2. That would be my personal recommendation. That seemed to be supported by the state-sponsored scientific community as well as one of the labs from industry. So I would suggest that the board adopt recommendation 2 there to be included in the motion of sending this regs packet out to public comment. All right. So let me. And Sarah, do we have a single number that I can reference here? Do I have to read all these off? Help me with this one.
Mr. Chairman, through the chair, I think you can probably just reference the entire, the proposed regulations in the tab to be open to a regulation project.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to propose that the regulations included in tab 10 be a regulation project and be sent out to public comment.
With recommendation 2.
With recommendation 2.
Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Miller. Any further discussion on sending this out?
I was trying to think of process when I know some things are harder for other people in the summertime than they are in fall. I was just wondering if we wanted to look at the standard 30-day or whether we wanted to look at like a 45-day comment. If this is testing and whatever, what would be better for the licensees to digest this and try to give us valid comments, whether 30 days is sufficient or would we want to try to refer?
I think 45 will still get us to audience.
45 might not get us all.
Okay.
Then I would offer that as an amendment that we allow for 45-day comment period.
Okay.
Second.
All right. So let's vote on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, no opposed. Then we'll send this out. So do a roll on that. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller? Yes. Remmett?
Yes.
I mean, yes. So the testing regulations are sent out. 45-day comment period. Okay. The board will entertain a motion to table tabs 12 through 16 to the end of the agenda time committee.
So motion.
Second.
You want? I'll second. You want 12 or 11? 11 is staff.
11. Do we want to? Yeah, I guess we can whip through 11 pretty quick, can't we? Right now?
I'd move that on the end of the agenda.
Okay. So 11 through 16.
Then I would make that motion.
Second.
All right, very good. Anybody in opposition to that motion? Okay, then tabs 11 through 16 are tabled, postponed to the end of the meeting. Okay, the accusation hearing is on the agenda has been set for June 26th. So now we are up to tab 17, new marijuana course provider applications. So tab 17 is the representative of 360 Training here. Don't see them on the phone.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
This is Marijuana Control Board. We are looking for...
Hi. This is Troy with 360 Training.
Okay.
Please join 360training.com application and Kerry will be joining within a couple of minutes. So can you please hang on for a minute, please?
Is there a motion to...
Yes, I think he has just joined.
Okay, all right, thank you. If you can hold on just a minute. Do we have a motion on this application?
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Point of clarification. So the last time we discussed going over the with only 4 members because both Mr. Miller and I are directors. Did you still want one of us to recuse ourselves for this?
Yeah, you know what? I wonder if we could do that. I'm wondering if maybe we...
Hello, this is Caleb Smith from 360 Training.
Okay, yeah, just hold on just a minute, please. We're just having a little point of order here. Yeah, we did that the last time. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're not on the board. Right. Yeah.
Mr. Miller joined after we had got that course completed. So.
Yeah, so that gives us 3 members to do 3 of these applications.
I'll be recusing myself for the next 2 tabs after this one.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll do that then. So go right ahead. Perfect. I think that's all cigarettes. Okay. All right, gentlemen from 360. Just so you know.
I want to apologize for missing the previous meeting.
Add one of our members who's on the director of the Alaska Marijuana Indians Association, which holds a license for a course application, or for a course, has recused himself, so we have 3 members here. So, Mr. Smith, why don't you just quickly tell us what you're about? I don't think... We had this on the agenda last time. I don't think you guys were there. So.
No. And we're based in Austin, Texas, so we're 3-hour time zone difference. And this process is a little different than the approval process we've gone through for numerous other states. So let me give you a quick introduction to me and our company and where we are in this process. So 360 Training is one of the premier providers of online certification-related training. We cover industries, everything from construction, safety, and real estate, and financial to food and beverage and manager certification. We're one of the 5 ANSI-accredited providers of food safety, manager certification, and we offer alcohol license training for servers and on-premise establishments in some 36 states. This will be our first marijuana handler training, as Alaska is the first state to have a training requirement for that marijuana handler permit. So this type of training that yields a permit is exactly what we do, and we built this course according to the state requirements, and are excited to be on board with recommendation for approval.
Okay, thank you. So we have just get the conversation or motion on this one?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve MCB 024 Alaska Marijuana Handlers training for 360 training.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Miller. Okay, this does look like pretty comprehensive program here. It's going to be online on demand.
Yes, sir.
And how much are you going to be charging for the training course?
Just one moment. I can confirm myself on that one. I believe we have it listed at $50, which is within $5 of the average price for this course is $55. Looking at other permits, our aim generally is to come within $50 lower than the average. And
that doesn't have a lot of bearing. I was just kind of curious. That sounds about what we're able to charging. Yes, sir.
The only question I have, I should have asked this of others that have been online only.
Mm-hmm.
How do you verify the person you're issuing the handler's card is the person who actually took the test?
I think that's a great question, and we do it in a variety of ways depending on state regulations. The first is that we make sure that the student uses their own name when they're purchasing, and they have that on the account. The same name will be on the certificate at the end. We found that by and large, student fraud has not been a real issue, especially for the handler level courses. We have greater security measures for some of the more advanced courses that yield college degree or other more advanced certificates. Some of the state rules require us to ask personally verifiable questions at the beginning and then insert them randomly throughout the course. We have some others that have an exam that requires a proctor to supervise, but for this course it is randomized security questions, such that, like I said, at the beginning of the course there will be asked several personal questions, and then intermittently throughout the course it will be required to answer with the same answer. The kind of thing that if the second person was sitting in their shoes, they would be able to guess.
Okay, so you could have somebody be a proxy for you.
There's a possibility that two people sit at a computer and go together. But what we have in that instance is that person is still viewed and experienced content and would have been a learning experience that would have helped them cover the material in such a way they still should be competent to perform the duties.
Okay, and
finally, that user is extremely aware.
Have been asked of other online trainers. I don't see any. I don't see any dummies of what you're. I mean, what we have here. The course. This will this be the online content, or if you got it, framed up as a point, or there's no real indication of what it looks like here.
Well, you said, is this what it is? And obviously, I'm not there, so I can't see what you're holding. But the documents that we submit. The documents that we have sent include a description of the course and the course outline, and then the full text copy of the content of the course. So if you're seeing what I think you're seeing of a document that has a red 360 training logo at the top and is quite a long number of pages here, 61 pages, then that is the full text copy. Now, it is not presented in a PDF format. It is presented in an interactive online video player that can play on a mobile phone or can play on a desktop computer. It will be presented by an audio reader who will read the copy, as well as many of the videos are interactive. There are interactive quizzes throughout, and there's occasionally we have games or matching activities that promote engagement with the content. So what you see is not the online course, but it is the full text of the content.
Okay, yeah. And
we have provided online logins so that if you wish to preview the course on a computer, you may do so. And I'm happy to forward a link, or when the course was reviewed initially, it was reviewed online in the course player experience, I believe.
Okay. Do you require payment before you take the full course, or would it be you got a payment before you take the test? How does that work?
Students will purchase the course by creating an account, purchasing the course, and then the course will be available to them to take. But they will have purchased the course prior to opening it. The course leads straight into the exam, and you'll certificate at the end.
Okay. Any other questions?
There's no purchases after the course.
Right. And you guys are running. Says you're doing. You got quite a few courses around that you're providing. Okay.
We have more than 1,000 courses in our library that cover a wide range of topics.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? We're going to vote on the motion. Okay, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. So congratulations. It's the first over 48 hours to get a handler course.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We're honored to be able to serve.
All right. on to tab 18. That would be green culture ed. All right, is green culture ed online?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Aaron Erickson. How are you doing today?
We're doing pretty well.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I would move that we approve MHCP 026, last marijuana anacard certification for green cultured.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Moved by Ms. Jones, second by Mr. Miller. So, why don't you go ahead, Mr. Erickson, is that what we're speaking to?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your program.
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity today. So, Green Cultured, we're going into our 7th year, and our backbone is really e-learning solutions. So, we've had over 100 organizations in the cannabis industry where we've helped develop their own internal training, whether it's standard operating procedures, and really allowing the validation of training that occurs. So that's something that the industry is really kind of needed. So we work with a lot of consultancies and local law firms here. We're Denver-based, even with, we were involved with Pennsylvania last year. So we come pretty heavily with the compliance side and the experience, really just building custom e-learning solutions for different clients and as well as situations like this.
Okay. Let's see, this is also strictly online. I guess same couple of questions for you. Reverse order. Does a student pay up front for the course, or do they pay after they completed the course and they're ready to take the test, or how's that process work for you?
Yeah, definitely. So they initially pay the tuition fee, and they're immediately provided access with their user credentials. So initially the course pretty much progresses as the different topics that were required to be part of the training. Everything in terms of the application in front of you, that's the content itself, but we're going through the process of instructional design to get it professionally voiced over. And then we use, publishing tools to create the videos, the interactions, and the different animations. So trying to make it, as enjoyable as possible to learn about, different laws. So that's kind of the process. And then before the certificate is issued, we have a requirement where they have to upload some PPIs, so personal identifiable information, so we can validate, who it was that registered, is actually taking the course. And then we can also do that via IP address validation as well. So that's kind of how we do authenticate that the user is the user that is completing the training.
Okay. So you've got our regulations written almost in full in here. Where is your... Okay, here we go. I was looking for the training part, what you're going to be seeing online. Anybody have any questions for the applicant? Okay, these, you've got a table in here on, it would be page 114 of your, okay, table of offenses and penalties.
We pulled that, I believe it was from the Alaska website, and that was more of a graphic, and if you feel that is not applicable, we can definitely remove that, since that's just more so an image that would be included.
Well, Mr. Mills, you take a look at that. You see that page 114 on here on tab 18. I mean, these aren't penalties that the board some of these look kind of old. I didn't know that there was a $100,000 fine for sale of marijuana to a person under 19. Page 100 and 115. It was 114 on his numbering. 115 on the PDF. Well, these aren't our regulations. These are like some of the old criminal statute penalties. I don't know whether that really needs to be part of the syllabus in here.
Yeah, that's entirely up to you. I think in the past you've noticed material needs application that is drawn directly from Alaska law. You've requested that it be removed, and that the application be resubmitted.
Yep. And I think that the isn't it 12 plants and 6 mature? Yeah. So you've got some errors in here in your certainly on page 114, and this is quoting these. I don't know where exactly you got those from, but they're some is clearly incorrect, and some of it, possession of hashish concentrates. Those are no longer crimes if you buy them commercially. So I think you get some problems in here. You get a lot of discussion here about cannabis chemistry that isn't necessarily necessary. Selecting best strain doses is almost medical advice, which I'm not sure which order this goes into, but we don't dispense medical advice. I guess a couple of quarters or a couple of different pot. This looks an awful lot like you're, offering instruction to potential holders of cards on what they could suggest to an individual for their self-perceived therapeutic benefit, and we don't endorse that, and certainly won't endorse that in a training course. Okay, so any other comments from any of the board members? Okay, we vote on the motion. Okay, Mr. Jones? Yes. Mr. Miller? Oh, no. So your license is not approved.
Okay. So I go ahead and remove from the...
You certainly flag it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time today.
Yep. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next on tap will be marijuana permit training 1.0. Here, okay, turn the phone off. You guys have a phone with you? Anybody on the phone with you? No, I say, do you have anybody on the phone with you? Okay. All right.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
We start our motion on this application.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
I would move that the board approve MCB 027 marijuana permit training.
Second. Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself to us, Mr. Baker.
Please hit the button, middle button.
My name is Kevin Baker. I'm a real estate broker for 30 years in the state of Alaska. I'm also a real estate broker licensed in the state of Washington for about 14 years. Over the last 25 years, I've taken a lot of continuing education courses online for those licenses. I'm also familiar with computer programming and such, and so I thought I would create the marijuana permit training class that I have in front of you.
It starts off with that marijuana is a controlled substance under the federal laws, and then it moves to abuse and prevention and such, which most of that information comes from the Department of Justice website. In addition to those, I identically copy Statute 1737, 1738, and your Regulation Chapter 306. I have 30 questions. There's 3 tests. If they must pass by 70%. First test is 10 questions. Second test is 10 questions. Third test is 10 questions also. If somebody was not to go through my course materials because I'm educating them on percentages and such, the odds are they would want the first test and possibly the second or the third. What I have, you'll notice in your tab that there's actually 4 pages missing. I brought the 4 pages with me. I don't know how they're missing because it's just a print. What you're looking at is a print off of my web course, the online course. Right now, my website is password protected and non-public, and is ready for testing purposes. One of the things I prepared for, but I have not implemented in that, is a click-through, which would, where the user would have to say they are the same person taking the test and doing the course as the same person is going to be licensed as a handler. And then I will take any question. On the 4 pages, I guess I could mention is it has to do with the penalties. In my course, I mentioned it twice. I cover it also in the statutes, what the penalties are. And I take excerpts out of those statutes for the Lesson 3 penalty section. In my test, I also have questions about what penalties might be for public consumption, too many plants in your possession, or attempting to gain access to a licensed establishment.
Okay. Through your questions here. How do you, well, those 4 pages that are not in here, were they submitted with your application?
I'm actually not sure. I just noticed a couple of days ago when I went through the PDF file, the tab that's set for me. I went through it a second time and reviewed it, and I noticed that if you look out, if you scroll down, you'll find that lesson 3.3 will skip to 3.6. Okay. And I have those with me. I don't know how they got not in there because it's pretty much just print, but they're obviously not there.
Okay, and the construction of your course, is it basically what we see here is going to be page by page? You just read this and read the statutes and read your anecdotes at the beginning, the statistics and stuff like that. And how do you have, what is a student going to see on the screen?
They'll go through, there's 5 lessons, and then the 6th lesson has to do with the Regulation Chapter 306. In my lesson, in Lesson 6, I break it down into, there's 9 articles. And so I touch base on those 9 articles, which is, or not touch base, but they're copy and pasted from your statute. When you require that a statute or a regulation be included in a course, I wasn't sure if that meant 100% or if I am okay to go to paraphrase your laws and to paraphrase your regulations. I chose not to paraphrase.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
So is the course totally online?
It will, yes, and classroom. So I'm going to offer classroom. You're also looking at classroom materials.
Is there an outline or syllabus here that kind of runs me through how your course is going to run?
That's how what you see is how the course is. With the exception to online, there's going to be a page for enrolling. There's going to be a page for payment, and there's going to be a page for the lessons. They have to click through and to a certain degree study each of the lessons before a take a test button would pop up. There's a certain assumption that who's taking the test is operating in good faith.
Jones, any questions or comments?
Just generally, there was a lot of information in here, especially early on, that there's no attribution. So, talks about daily or near daily marijuana use has increased in recent years for college students. Talks about 85% of 12th graders perceive a greater risk of harm. Further on down, there's a whole section on sort of penalties, and there's like 5 pages of reiteration of the newspaper articles on frozen bud. I really don't see a flow that would educate a person. When I sort of looked at the tests, it seemed to be testing things that I didn't necessarily read up above. I think this needs a lot more work before I would be willing to approve it.
If I may. Right. The course that you see follows the guidelines that are given to me by your code. When you look at what your code requires, this one follows it. The reason frozen bud's in there because it's definitely serious business, and it's a penalty, and what can happen if you violate law, that there's a penalty, and it's what the board has come down on other people that have licenses. So it's very attributable for a student to know what is the board doing with other violations, so they know what not to do.
Well, that's fine. It just I don't know. It just seems I like the point about sourcing some of the comments in here. It just doesn't seem like it's that going to be that certainly not user friendly. So get some jump in there on.
Based on the courses that I've taken over the last 25 years, I made it totally user-friendly. I'm the kind of guy that will point to the law instead of paraphrase the law, and so that's why you see it in there. Lessons 1 through 3, all the rest of the criteria that I had to follow. When you see statistics and such, what you'll learn is you want to prevent abuse. It's not illegal for somebody 21 and over to say smoke marijuana. It's illegal for somebody under 21. So I go into statistics and how to prevent abuse, and this is straight. A lot of it straight from the Department of Justice, who says we want people to educate other people on abuse prevention, intervention. Same thing that you want to have educated at the same time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we'll just spend another minute on this. It says here that no deaths from overdose of marijuana have been reported. Marijuana is the most common illegal drug involved in auto fatalities. So you don't know whether they've overdosed or not before they drove. Marijuana is found in the blood of approximately 14% of drivers who die in car crashes, often in combination with alcohol or other drugs. See, you have a lot of statements in here that the person who's reading it is expecting that there will possibly be questions on the exam at the end, and you know, where is it's an education course, so you know, where is that coming from? But I'm not gonna ask you about that. If we don't approve your application, you can always come back and apply again and tune it up.
The statistics and quoting is straight from the Department of Justice website.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't make those statements and statistics.
No, I
find them highly educational with respect to preventing abuse, preventing an intervention.
And the task that we anticipate from holders of cards that are, especially those are in retail, is to make sure people are 21 come to the door, make sure they are not obviously intoxicated in one fashion or another, and that what is sold to them is sold legally and meets the requirements for quantity and stuff. Anyways, are we ready to vote? Okay, Mr. Jones.
No.
Mr. Miller.
No.
And I'll be no. So you certainly come in. Well, look at other courses. You know,
I've been taking courses for 20.
No, I mean look at other marijuana handle courses that are approved.
I have looked at
the applications are on the website. So
I'll do everything I have.
Okay.
Or else I wouldn't have created a course.
Sure. No, I understand. Okay. Well, thank you for applying, and we have got a schedule to move along on. So, are we going to do? We're going to do tab 20 classes. I am guessing.
At the last meeting, the board members decided that they didn't want to address that at that time. Those reasons haven't changed, so it might be my assumption the board don't want to address it, but it's up to you.
Okay. And that was pending. That was pending. June 26th, right? That's what we put.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah. Mr. Emmett is chewing on something. Oh, okay. Thought maybe he went ahead. Second lunch. Okay. So what is the sense of the board? Do we want to wait until we have our meeting on the 26th and take this up in August?
Yes.
All right. Any objection to that? Okay, so we will we'll table tab 20, last assents, to the August meeting, pending the outcome of our next meeting. Okay, so tab 21. Let's see if I can pronounce this right. Right, would representative of tab 21 please come up and tell us how to pronounce your name?
I've had trouble with this for a long time. No, Adam Boyd here, one of the licensees, General Dean, Counsel for, I'll let you know, that's it.
Solnua?
Yeah.
Solnua, okay. It's a Gaelic word that represents New Hope. Oh, there we go, all right.
So what happened in this case is that it took up until 4 weeks ago to finally get the fire marshal certificate of approval. And we needed that fire marshal certificate of approval to apply for the conditional use permit in the Matthew Borough. So we got that all in May 31st. I could be a little off on that date. And so that's all in, and then Mark Winhut also let us know we needed to shoot him the $100 review fee, which we did, and grab him a Matthew business license, which we either did or started to do yesterday. This is in progress. It's completely built out now.
Okay, so you're on the verge of curedom.
Correct. It'll probably be, Matthew Borough won't wait their process until after the CUP hearing, which will be 45 to 55 days away.
So okay, without taking, we could wait a lot to take action on this then, couldn't we?
I don't.
So if there is a protest and the board's required to uphold the protest, my recommendation is to uphold the protest. I suggested a 90-day abeyance, which would give them 90 days to resolve the matter if they think, and you can hear from them whether they feel that's sufficient time.
That's sufficient time.
Okay. Then we'll table this to the...
No. You need to uphold the protest because you are required to uphold the protest.
Which we've already done.
Well, you approved it with delegation in the past. And then we got a protest after that, which we, due to we dismissed it, we didn't bring it back to the board, which we should have done last year. So there's a live protest on it, so the board's required to uphold the protest again, but to give them, and the whole issue of protests based on, they just need to do something for the local government versus protests that are really like, don't issue this license. We're proposing that a regulation project in one of the tabs that got skipped that will kind of more clarify that we're really talking about two different things.
Okay, so the recommendation, I apologize for skipping over here. The director recommends that we rescind the prior approval delegation and uphold the protest with a 90-day abeyance, which means that we would come back for approval at our...
If the protest is lifted within 90 days, then they are approved, although I would like you to clarify that if there are any other outstanding items that the approval would be, the delegation would continue until those other outstanding items are addressed. If the protest is not lifted in 90 days, then the protest would be upheld and the license would be denied. So
that's an abeyance.
Yeah, kind of holding it in wait. So this would not come back to the board.
I'm waiting for a strain to come out with the word. It's not going to require any more action by the board.
Correct.
All right. Okay. Does anybody else understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I would move that the board rescind its approval with delegation and uphold the protest with a 120-day abeyance in accordance with 3 AAC 306-060.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
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 So there you go. All right. Alaska Skunk Works from Talkeetna. I guess Alaska Skunk Works is here. Okay. All right. Checking. See it.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. This is Lance Wells, attorney on behalf of Alaska Skunk Works.
Okay, Mr. Wells. Good afternoon. Your client's with you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
First grade. All right. So again, Director, I will let you start off.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the board approved this application with delegation at the April meeting. We then received a timely protest by the Matanuska-Susitna Borough for lack of a conditional use permit. So I recommend that the board rescind its prior approval and uphold the protest with a 90-day abeyance, meaning that if the protest is lifted within 90 days, then the approval, and if the board could clarify, an approval with delegation would be in existence. And it's, again, I've selected 90 days to give plenty of time to address some issues, but as we know, sometimes things take longer, and so it's up to the board to talk with the licensee about whether 90 days is sufficient.
Well, that sounds awfully simple.
Yeah, so I feel like I want to say 90 days is great because, I've been working with the borough. I've turned in all my paperwork. It came back to me,
with what I needed to correct. I sent it back. I talked to the gentleman I work with at the borough for conditional use permits. He said everything looks great, so he's not going to send it back to me. But we were waiting on my driveway permit. I have an existing driveway. I have to go to DOT to get it.
Okay, ma'am, can you just give us your name real quick?
Andrea Gunter.
Okay, thank you.
So I talked to the gentleman at DOT. He stayed late for me last night. I paid him money this morning, and I'm waiting for my driveway permit to come in my email. And so, to me, when I talk to the borough, and we all know where we're at, technically I could get, they're saying I can get into the August meeting with the borough. I guess they meet on the 1st and the 3rd, and that is where I feel like they say is what's going to happen.
Okay, well, why don't we just go 120 days, because if you get it done earlier, then it's done. We'd rather do 120 days than 90 and have you go to them on day 91.
Yes,
okay?
I agree. I think 120 would be submitted.
I would tend to think, even if it is an Okay, is there a motion to rescind? Yes.
I recommend that the board rescind its prior approval with delegation and uphold the protest with a 120-day abeyance in accordance with 3 AAC 306-060.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Bennett. Any comments? Okay, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
Okay.
Thank you. And brings us Matt Newski Cannabis Company.
This is Chad Ragdale from here.
Okay, say your name one more time,
Chad Ragdale.
Okay.
Mr. Wells.
All righty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Similar to the last licensee, the board has approved this with delegation. Subsequent to that, we received a timely protest by the Matsu Borough due to lack of a conditional use permit. I recommend that the board rescind its prior approval with delegation and uphold the protest to be consistent with what your most recent actions, perhaps with a 120-day abeyance to give the licensee time to get the conditional use permit.
This is Mr. Wells.
Yeah, Mr. Wells, go ahead.
June 12th, I don't receive this yet. They sent out a letter expressed our alcohol marijuana company. The Massachusetts Borough hereby rescinds its protest against the new marijuana retail facility address. Approve the conditional use permit on June 4, 2018. Should you have any questions or require additional information, contact me at the above address or phone number 861-8527. Signed, Mark Weisenhunt, Planner 2, Development Services Division, Massachusetts Borough. So I can forward that letter if you need it.
Looks like we got it.
All right. I guess
We also
you're delegated. Okay. Then we're good.
We also received our DEC approval, and I was just wondering.
Yeah. No, you are. You can continue in delegation status.
Okay, perfect. Thank
So
you.
you're good to go. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we come to, I believe, roll call. And is there anybody here from anybody on the agenda for tab 24?
Yes, William Bear for Alaskan Cannabis Outfitters.
Okay, well, you're the first one on the list. So you are in pending inspection status for over 6 months, so tell us what's going on.
Well, there's no construction in Homer from across these 6 months that since I have been approved. And so we haven't got very far on construction. It's a ground-up new construction. And so in the meantime, I contacted a soil engineer for my terrible soil problem, and he got working on that. around the time, just before you issued the pending inspection notice, and he wanted to put together and going to meet with me the first part of this year to get the rest of it, because the holding tank, DEC is thrilled with those. And long story short, the gentleman passed away. I have lost all the fees and everything I paid for him to come out and do tests and whatnot. So I found somebody else. They just completed it. But we have a relatively shallow pool of contractors down here that are reputable. And it's booming down here as far as building is concerned. So whether I can get a contractor to build it for me between now and the time that construction pretty much stops is pretty skinny. In a perfect world, I'd like to have an extension until next year.
Okay, so let me get this right here. You've got no construction on your retail store, or a sewer tank?
No. I have a foundation and I also have a new septic tank. Before it was a holding tank, and got a better thing with it, but it was, pretty pricey. Either way, my septic system and my foundation is in. I just need to find somebody to put up a shell on there. We can start working on that aspect. And I'm on a waiting list. I mean, there's nobody that can work right now because they're working all over here in town.
Sure. Okay, Director?
Mr. Chair, for the last several meetings, I've brought licensees to you that have been in pending inspection status for over 6 months or in delegated status for over a year. As you know, there are concerns with these things stretching out for too long, but I don't request any particular action from the board. I want you to, if you see an issue, I expect you to address it.
Okay. When does construction season actually end in Homer?
Well, it ends September, October, the latest is the general rule, and then we got road weight bearing.
Okay.
It's long.
I got you. Okay. Well, any questions here? Okay. Just go ahead and keep at it. You might want to just send a letter, get something formal into so that they put you at the bottom of the inspection pile so they don't keep wondering when they're going to go out.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Denali Dispensaries, are you here?
Yes, I am. This is Brandon.
Okay, very good. Okay, so
20 days, that's big pay.
Okay, Denali Dispensaries, go ahead and fill us in. What's up?
So basically, when the fire marshal was doing their approval, they didn't know that the electrical service for our building was inside the back exit. And one of our staircases is non-conforming, so that has to be used as an exit. And we had to move our electrical service from inside of the building to outside of the building, and that's pretty much been our big holdup.
Okay, so you said...
And it's done. It's done. We just finished it last week.
Oh, it's done. So then are you ready for inspection then?
We are getting really close. We have a couple other things.
The fire marshal has to come out and inspect what you did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you're real close. Okay. Very good. Close enough. Thank you. Okay. AK Joint. Yes, I see a hand back there. Come on down. Good afternoon. You going to tell us who you are? Push the button, yep. Point the microphone to yourself. Turn red. Yeah. There you go.
All right.
You're good.
Hi, I'm Colleen Howard. I own AK Joint.
Okay.
Oh, so...
Why am I here?
No, right. No, I am hoping to be ready to call for inspections by the end of summer. We just got the retail going. Energy has kind of been focused there. No other real reason we don't have any problems. There's nothing. It's just time. time to get it done. My husband's the contractor, and I'm considering cutting him off at some point until he gets things done for me. But no, that's where we're at. It's just time. There's nothing.
Okay, so you're co-located, right? The retail
yeah.
is co-located.
Same boat.
Okay, so no other. Just you. Sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah.
As a husband. Okay. All right. Good.
Right, that's it.
Hopefully you'll be.
I'm hoping so too, because it would definitely.
Back in the fall, saying I'm growing like gangbusters. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Juno's Green Garden.
Good afternoon. This is Paul Burrows with Juno's Green Garden.
Hey, Paul. I'm here too, Jana. I didn't know you were going to be on the call.
Okay, so short question, what's up?
So Paul has entered into a transfer agreement for these licenses, and we've submitted the transfer application back in April. Paul originally got the CUP under a different name, so we have to go and modify that, and the transfer hasn't been reviewed yet. So technically Paul's still the licensee, but we can't really take any action on this license and file any changes in premises until the new licensee takes over for the transfer.
Is there a premises?
Sure, yes.
Well, okay, so he hasn't been operating, has he?
Mr. Chair.
No, not at all.
Go ahead.
This is one that I talked about the other day when I saw this. So I checked with our planning department to see if there were any holdups on the conditional use permit. The information I got back, I forwarded to staff. The names on the changes to the conditional use permit are in the name of the person Paul's transferring it to, but that's not the official name on our records because it hasn't been reviewed because of a change in the way the premises from the original CUP, they're being required to file an amendment to the CUP. But this is the one where within the city borough Juneau, there's a process going on, and the names are being changed, but it hasn't been reviewed at the state level for the names to be changed, so they haven't also filed any of the MJ14s for premises diagram changes or any of that. This is one of those ones where there's basically two governments and two different processes that are moving at different paces, and for them to submit the paperwork for the state, they've got to get the name changed and everything, at least as I understand it. So anyway, I'm hoping that somehow that can get worked out with staff, and if they're going to prioritize transfers, then this might be the case. But the information I got from our planning department on what is now required in Juneau for them to be ready to operate, that information has been passed on to staff. So.
Okay, so Penny, has the cultivation been operating on that?
No, it's never been operating.
Okay, so but he wants to transfer it. Okay. All right. Okay. Explain that, I guess.
Thank you, Paul.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Secret Garden Cannabis.
Harold Dean, attorney for Secret Garden Cannabis.
James Thornton, owner of Secret Garden Cannabis.
Okay. What's up?
It's a big old building, the Dooley's, I would say wrong, Dooley's building. It's a huge facility, and they're building it out. And it's kind of crazy how much has changed. It looks awesome, but it's a large build-out in the city of Anchorage, and so it's just in process.
Well, you kind of have city of Anchorage here. You got permits? You waiting on permits?
They're trying to make them in an elevator.
So we opted for a little bit more of a conservative approach. Single phase build out.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Dove in at first, and so because of that, and because we're currently navigating the municipal process, there have been setbacks, but we are moving along as scheduled, and it's looking good.
Okay, just one story elevator.
We're not going to do an elevator, but we'll get back to that. So they're building out completely, not in phases.
Right, okay, so what's your schedule look like?
I hope to be operating this year.
Will it be inspected by
I
December?
sure wish I had an answer for that for you. But we are in a hurry to do it right.
Yep. Okay. You've got a retail, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and it's already going.
Yeah, and we are. It's one phase. One phase will be open.
Oh, there's two. Yeah, so we're doing 5 to 6 people. Okay, very good. Okay, so
we are building it up.
So you're
we're building it compliance minded. So.
Right. So you're actively in construction.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. That's different from some people. Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And then delegated Alaska AK Shadow from Fairbanks, Mr. Holshoe. I hope I did it right. Are you on the line?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Just Holshoe. Hello, AK Shadows, you out there?
So when a plant is over 8 acres, or
carry them to.
Mr. Chair, this one was actually on the agenda 2 meetings ago, and
the conference is now in listen-only mode.
April, I think it was on January, and so here it is June, and twice we notified them that the board wants to speak to them, and they haven't showed up.
Anybody from Fairbanks know this gentleman? Sound familiar?
I don't know them. I've heard of them. I've heard they're trying to do this, but no one in the community there really knows who they are. So I don't know.
Okay, why don't we? All right, thanks. Why don't we? What would be the easiest way to follow up on this? Send an investigator over to this door.
I would maybe recommend that table or having put this on the next agenda, contact them and say that if they don't show up and talk to the board on the next agenda, you're going to revoke the license.
That would be
or rescind your
consider action. Yeah. Okay. That sounds fine. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree.
All righty. Good. Okay. That was 10:25. So moving right along, we are making a little progress here. So tab 26, board consideration, Arts Alaskan Plantation. They want a time extension. Madam Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The licensee for Arts Alaskan Plantation, Mr. Art Church, did pass away in November of 2017, and his wife, you may remember this, we did everything to
Nome and sometime, I believe.
Exactly, remember. His wife was appointed personal representative for the estate and did go through a background check, and those were the 2 criteria to allowing her to temporarily operate the license, which she did, but once she becomes the official temporary licensee, she has 90 days to file a transfer, and so that's where it was required by April 29th, but several days before that she filed a request for an extension of 90 days, so that is this, and that would allow, give her until July 28th to submit a transfer application, and I have no objection to that.
Here or on the line? That courtesy.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Yeah.
Hello, is Bonnie Church out there? Okay.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Extend for how long?
90 days to July 28th.
Okay. All right.
A motion.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Miller. Any discussion? All those in favor of extension say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. So she's got a 90-day extension. That brings us to tab 27, last slow burn cannabis.
Yeah, we'll see for last slow burn.
Okay, let's hear from the director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So last fall, in our attempt to clean up our licensing system where we had several hundred applications in new or initiated status that had no, they didn't appear to be moving, we sent an email to over 200 applicants, and we were invoking Section 3AAC 306-255F, which states when the director informs an applicant that its application is complete as provided in this section, the applicant must complete the application not later than 90 days after the date of the director's notice. So we sent this email, which is quoted here, and a few applicants submitted all their applications by January 10th. And the remainder were changed to failed to complete status. There were several applicants who had worked on their applications, submitted some documents and forms or payments after leaving that October 2017 email, but not completing those within the 90 days, which ended on January 10, 2018. Those applications were changed to failed to complete. In March, Ms. Wellstein, who represented several of them, pointed out to me that 3AAC 306-025F references 025E, which states that if an application for marijuana establishment license is incomplete, the director shall notify the applicant and shall either return an incomplete application in its entirety or request the applicant to provide additional identified items needed to complete the application. And she argued that I had either returned any incomplete applications or informed the applicants of what additional items were needed to complete the application. She was entirely correct. So I rescinded my decision on those, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 situations where the applicant had been making progress, had missed the January 10th deadline, but I had not notified them of either which items were missing from their application or had I returned what they had submitted. So I sent those individuals new emails identifying which items were missing from their application, and I provided them with a new 90-day period in which to provide the missing items. A couple months later, in early May, I received an email from Ms. Wellstein regarding this license or application for a case logo and cannabis outlet, requesting that this application also be revived. However, nothing has been submitted for this application at all. So I would argue that I met the elements of 306-025E1 in that as there was nothing to submit, there was nothing to return, and so that was sufficient to notify the applicant that they had that time and would be moved to complete if they didn't complete their application. And I would note that the applicant didn't respond to the October 2017 email to indicate that they were trying to complete this application, and nor once it was moved to fail to complete status in February did they protest at that point either.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what we're trying to decide here, but I do feel like this is my neighbor business, and I feel like I should maybe depending on where we're going, is recused. This is a different.
This is a different location.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So, if I may, the license you were talking about here was opened up a store near you, Alaska Cannabis Outlet. We did a lease starting back in, I believe, April 2016, and has been paying on that lease on the Tudor location. Well, the Tudor location became an issue in December 2016 because the way the meeting was measuring it, and Eric was asking me during this time period, was that if you walked across the street, even if it was Tudor, and there wasn't a stoplight, that was a legal pedestrian crosswalk, right? That you could legally walk across it according to the Anchorage traffic code.
And walk across to what?
To the church, right? And so we made an argument based off this location and one of my clients that, hey, major arterials really shouldn't just be walked across. That's not really a normal pedestrian route. You should measure it by going to the crosswalk, right? And the Anchorage Assembly agreed. They said, you know what, for major arterials, go to the crosswalk. But there was a caveat, and it was any license that was initiated after January 2017 had an additional measurement, which is a straight line of 200 feet to keep the spheres of influences separated. So even though you measure it by going up to the crosswalk, you have to at least be 200 feet away which was a new requirement, and so everything that was initiated prior to the date of January 1st, 2017 was grandfathered in and not subject to that straight line. So, in the meantime, Lou has been working on getting the Mountain View store up, getting it going. He's the sole owner, and it's, he works that thing day to night. His general manager had some health issues, and so now it's really just him kind of working this thing. And so he hadn't had time, and he missed the emails, and he didn't go into My Alaska and check for the sales complete, and so he missed this thing. But nothing was returned to Lou in this notice. Section E requires that that Erica either return the copy of the application in its entirety, right, incomplete application in its entirety, or request that the application provide additional identified items. So what she could have returned and would have satisfied is the actual online application itself, which is the PDF-generated document that we sent to the local government, which was Erica at the time, and to the community council, which we did. We also ran a newspaper ad. So I agree, it's a little piece of the application that was done that included his social security number, the entity's business license number, the GPS location, the local government, and the community council to identify those things to create the PDF, which could have been returned, but it wasn't. So technically speaking, if we're going to follow the regs, and we're going to follow the regs consistently, this license should be reestablished to initiate its status of its original initiation date.
Which would keep him in the crosswalk.
Correct, and he's been paying $2,000 a month ever since he started this, which was for 2 years now.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I understand this, but I don't know that it's we're 2 years into this, and basically what we're being asked to do is to keep him out of a limbo with Anchorage, even though outside of what Ms. Welchine showed us, he hasn't done anything in terms of, the application or the building or any of that. I'm not willing to change that.
I would know that's technically not correct. He has done work, the building, and my team has drafted all of his applications on the old forms, and then we had a chance to put them all to the new forms, and so there's been a substantial amount of work done. I understand that the regulations don't address when an application goes stale, right, for initiated purposes. Perhaps that's a regulation project, but without a regulatory authority to reverse the initiation, except for following strictly item E, I don't believe that this would be giving somebody proper due process when you're not following the regulations to the T.
Can we look for a word from law on this, or should we not?
You can. I'm not sure I have an easy answer for you. I think Ms. Welty makes a certain point. However, there's also a point to having applications just languish for years and years, and I think there's been substantial compliance here on the part of the director. I don't know.
So what point is your client at if we were to continue his application? He's working on his other store.
Almost all the application materials done, the ads been run, the local governments have been notified, the community council has been notified. It's really just a method of me submitting the paperwork. That's why I figured out it was failed to complete. I went in there to look at it, and paying the fee, getting under the review queue. Your review queue is, 6 to 8 months as it is.
No, that's true. That's true. I just want to, make sure that I think this is the first time we've had a situation like this come up.
It is, and so I think in these circumstances you could fashion a remedy. Perhaps you could give Ms. Weltein's client a certain period of time which to complete. They're looking back at your adoption of the enforcement priorities of the Cole Memorandum. there's really not a huge downside here to giving them a little grace period to finish up. And it's also an opportunity to remind folks to, not let this happen because it causes huge problems with the office, and then here we are.
Yeah, and by the same token, I want to make sure that whatever we do is validated by what the staff does. We're not certainly. If we were to continue this, we aren't saying to the director, "Oh, you did a lousy job."
I don't think the director did a lousy job at all. I think this is a very,
it's kind of goofy.
Yeah, it's a little goofy. It's not addressed in our regulations. There's not clear guidance to either side, and it's probably highlights an issue that needs to be worked on down the line.
How quickly?
60 days. So to get the application in.
6 days.
60. Yeah.
60.
To get the application into the review queue.
Go ahead,
Mr. Chair. You think 60 is going to be enough?
To complete our application?
Yeah.
I do, but just, if you guys don't think so, 90 days.
A lot of stuff we give a 90-day. I know in my world, 60 days flies by. So I would recommend 90. But just make sure Lou knows that he's got to get this done.
90, just to clarify, 90 just to submit it to staff, correct?
Yes.
To submit it, yes. Mr. Jones, any comments on this? Mr. Miller? Okay, so I guess we'll take a motion to give Alaska Slow Burn 90 days to submit I'll just say submit. I won't say submit a completed because no telling what they find when they look through it, right? Just submit an application of all elements, yep, and payment. So,
yeah, so motion.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, is there any opposition? Okay, so I will take a roll call on that. Then, Mr. Jones?
No.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Abbott?
Yes.
And I'll say yes. Thank you. Okay, so we do okay, Bluffside Gardens from Talkeetna. Are you with us in the room? Doesn't appear to be.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Okay, Bluffside Gardens in Talkeetna. Are you on the line?
I am. Brian Tunnel.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and identify yourself real quick.
Brian Tunnel.
Okay, and we will go to the director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The review of residency for this license, or for one of the licensees, is not yet completed, and it's been the board's practice to table the application in that situation.
Yep. Okay, is there a motion to table?
Motion to table.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Is there any opposition to tabling this? We'll probably have it in August, one way or the other. Okay, is there any opposition to tabling this till August? Seeing none, sir, your application is tabled to our August meeting, a little closer to Talkeetna than Anchorage is, I guess. See you in an alley.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we get to the easy ones, I think. Okay, we're going to get into testing facilities. So, Fairbanks Analytical Testing.
And you have Mr. Wells.
Okay, Mr. Wells, very good. Thought you guys were from the Department of Revenue again wearing neckties. Go ahead, yeah, push the button, let red light come on. And go ahead and introduce yourselves to us.
I'm Dylan Maycomber.
Dylan.
Ronnie's. Jeff Werner.
Okay.
And I am Jessica Smith here from the Lance Wells office, and Mr. Lance Wells is on the phone.
Okay, very good. Like, quit throwing like 10 around. At least not a cup of coffee like some other did in Nome. Okay, is there a motion on the application 15124 Fairbanks Analytical Testing LLC?
Mr. Chair, motion to approve license number 15124 Fairbanks Analytical Testing LLC with delegation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Emmett, seconded by Mr. Miller. All right, go ahead and you introduce yourself to us. Tell us what you're all about.
Yeah, pull it closer to you.
I'm Dylan Maker, I'm the CEO of Fairbanks Analytical Testing right now. We're able to perform all essential tests needed by the state, and we are we also have the equipment able to perform pesticides, as well as mycotoxin and
Okay, you're the CEO.
I'm the CEO. This is my laboratory director right here.
Okay. And
my name is Jeff Warner. My background is in agricultural science and horticulture, and I have an extensive background in analytical testing at the University of Alaska Fairbanks Experimentation.
Okay, you got a degree in
natural resources management.
Okay, is that what do you use? Master's degree, PhD?
It's a bachelor's.
Bachelor's degree, okay.
In 1993.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, where in Fairbanks do you Station Street?
Station Street is on behind the Prospector on South Fishing.
Okay. All right. Just generally, you've heard some of the discussion that we've had in the last several months about testing in Alaska. Since you're laboratory director, science manager, I guess we could call you. What are your thoughts on the fact that we've got a couple laboratories that are showing some big differences in their results? Have you had a chance to read the desk audit report yet?
I have. And, my background is actually in controlled environment, greenhouse production, and crop evaluation and hydroponics. And in doing that, run into some of the same issues that they had in the labs of trying to maintain the same results across the board. Understanding humidity, barometric pressure, and all the differences in sampling. There's quite a variance in things that could happen. It's just a matter of sticking to our SOPs and understanding where the challenges are in eliminating those processes and keeping our calibration and everything.
Okay. You said you've got the equipment already?
Yep.
And I think you probably got some background in science also as the CEO, or?
I do not. My background is more in business.
Okay. So we've also had what sort of how big a laboratory staff do you have? Are you going to be doing all the testing yourself? Or?
No, right now we've got an assistant that works with me, and we foresee 4 to 5 other employees working with us.
Okay.
The conference is now in only mode.
I didn't feel like getting up and dancing. Go ahead and describe your laboratory suite to us.
We've got several rooms that are separated for our microbial, our storage, preparation and handling and receiving.
And I really meant your equipment suite, not the floor.
And in the main room where we have our HLCs, chromatographs, EIS machine, and all of our fume hoods are in a long room. We just remodeled the building, put in new ventilation, new air handling, new heating systems, trying to equilibrate and eliminate some of those environmental issues. It's the downstairs of the building. It's stable and secure. And secure predator rings.
Okay. All right. So just there's two owners. Okay. All right. Are you guys related? Okay. Any other board members got any questions as we go along here?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So, do you guys use plating, PCR? What do you guys use for your microbial testing?
Well, we're going to start with plating in controlled environments.
Okay.
Incubators.
What's the definition of homogeneous?
Homogeneous, I think sample are single species.
That's incorrect.
I figured as much.
Yeah. Consistent throughout. One more. I'm going to ask some clarifying questions because the labs have come under such scrutiny. So explain your sample preparation to me.
Well, we haven't done any yet, so we're still in the matter of learning our SOPs. And but what we have is it comes in, we catalog it, receive it, and then in the process we'll be grinding the sample and then separating the sample into different quadrants, and then keeping and the sampling goes throughout in different processes.
What diluent are you're using for your sample, your initial extraction?
Methanol.
Methanol. Okay. No further questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, are you what sort of industry standards in this are you intending to subscribe to?
For the FDA and the EPA and the USDA standards.
And do they have standards for standards for what? I mean, so is the standards or USDA standards testing for THC content. I mean, there's laboratory standards. I mean, if I go over to the state crime lab, they're going to have a certificate hanging on the wall saying that they're a different kind of laboratory, but they still engage in chemical analysis, and so they would have some I don't want to use the word certification, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, there's a certification or an accreditation.
Yeah, accreditation. Yeah. Would you, by dint of academic accomplishment and the experience that you have, would you think eligible for any kind of accreditation now or in the future as a laboratory?
Yes, we strive for ISO certification.
Okay, what would that involve? Getting that?
It's a matter of a lot of processes in our paperwork. Everything from how we're handling our samples to how we're dealing with our business.
Okay, so you were just asked whether you've got your standard operating procedures done, and you said that you're still working on them. You haven't dry run. You haven't done any. Have you ever analyzed a sample of marijuana for THC content?
No, we haven't.
You have not. Have you personally, in any sort of laboratory setting, ever done that?
For marijuana?
Yeah.
No. Our SOPs are finished.
Okay.
Learning our process to perfect them.
Okay. And you've got everything, all your laboratory hardware is in place and purchased there in Fairbanks. Okay, we haven't dry run any of it. What sort of qualifications do you mean? And these are not necessarily questions we've asked in the last couple of years for testing labs, but it's been certainly my expressed view on the record that testing for marijuana in the state. It really is a cornerstone linchpin of the success of the industry and confidence of the people in the state, the consumers, and our visitors. So if it sounds like you're getting a little bit of third degree, you are. So you're going to have 5 or 6 employees. Well, let's talk about transportation, because that's been an issue for some people with laboratory transportation. What's your plan for shipping and receiving? Mostly for receiving.
Yeah, we won't be doing any more transportation.
You won't?
No.
Okay, so
we will only be receiving, we will not be shipping. We will only be intake. We will not be going to get the product.
Okay, so if Mark's Thrash Moose Gardens wants to get marijuana tested by you, I got to bring it to you.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm just a little bit concerned because unless I'm thoroughly mistaken, the other 2 laboratories have got the other 3 actually 3 licenses. 3, 2.5 to 1 closed, but they just sort of licensed, I think. Oh, they did. So that's still good. Yeah, right. But anyways, they do have some substantial substantial degrees working for them, not to belittle the value of a bachelor's degree in agricultural natural resources. Yeah. But we are talking about when you put your name on a sample, when the name of your laboratory is on a product that's being sold over the counter, in a retail establishment. Right? People are going to want to be assured that it is coming from, somebody that knows what they're doing. So, what's you're the laboratory manager, right? Would you also be called the scientific director for the laboratory? So you're the top guy. If anything goes wrong, everybody's going to point to you and say what happened, correct? Okay. So, what's your laboratory experience in the years?
I've got more than 15 years working in the plant science laboratory at the Universal Laboratory and Experiment Station.
Okay, and I have chemical analysis, structural analysis, use gas chromatographs, the instruments that you now have, has been using all those, you're thoroughly familiar with the operation of all those instruments, and you feel confident that you can train your employees to meet your SOP, to use the equipment, the instruments, if they haven't used those kind before. You feel very confident in that. And, of course, I mean, okay, I don't want to share.
Yeah, so if we do approve the license, they'll still have to go through the A2LA procedure. And maybe sometimes putting someone on the spot and asking them to regurgitate facts can be a little stressful. There's a little bit of concern on my part about the level of analytical chemistry that you might have in your lab, just because I can't find your SOPs. You haven't included your SOPs in the application or in the operating plan.
There should be a sample from what we had.
There should be?
Yeah, it was made by Brigitte Hagdorn. We have samples of the procedures here as well.
Okay, I guess that would be unless I overlooked it in the application, that would be something that I would request as part of the delegation is that to submit a copy of the SOPs, so we can look over them and see that the procedures that you're going to use in the lab can form at least to the standard of the other labs that are operating in the state.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd like to see in your premises diagram the equipment layout. That's not in there. It says clean room. It says it's got the walls, but it doesn't say this is where this piece of equipment's going to be. And that would be helpful.
So that would be another delegation item. And we had job descriptions for other laboratories for their I don't know if we have or not.
Yeah, I think it was just scientific director, and all the laboratories in the past had at least one analytical chemist on the team, and so I don't think we had some of these questions. I know for myself that would bring me some more comfort, even if not you as the lab director, but whoever your lab technician that you hire, you're probably going to avoid some pitfalls if that person does have an analytical chemistry background.
And the lab tech that we have right now does. Alex Thompson. He has a bachelor's in chemistry.
Okay, Mr. Jones, Mr. Miller, you got any questions or comments? Mr. Jones. Yes, sir.
I think my only comment is similar to the concerns that, as I read the regulations, lab director with a bachelor's degree needed 6 years of post-degree lab experience. The brief description in the MJ07 form, I guess, it also referenced his resume, which I've been going through, and I don't see that 6 years of lab experience. I see maybe some, but certainly not what I would expect. If somebody comes in with a PhD, you sort of know what they do. Somebody with a bachelor's degree, I think there needs to be a lot more description of the actual lab experience. What is that 6 years? This says a bachelor's degree in chemical or biological sciences. Natural resource management is not a biology degree or a forestry degree or a soil scientist degree. I mean, it's how do you manage, natural environment, and it's useful in a lot of things, but running a lab. So at that point, I would probably be a no at this point. I don't know that we necessarily, and that's why I asked the question early on about where are we in the testing workshop, and will that make changes? And given our concerns about testing and protection of public safety and understanding what we're doing, I at this point don't feel that the laboratory director exhibits enough in the application that I can support it.
Any other comments? Yeah, I share a lot of the same concerns. Again, just because testing marijuana is, there's a reason why we've got a potential regulatory for out-of-state investment of all the parts of the industry in testing, because we want to make sure that we have a totally top-notch program here in the state. Sure, go ahead.
If I may make a clarification on my degree background, even though it's a natural resources management degree, the University of Alaska, that's the closest they have to an agricultural science degree. And my coursework entails plant science, seafood science, soil science, hydrology, water quality. So essentially it is an agricultural degree, but the University of Alaska Fairbanks calls it a natural resource management degree. Unlike it's not park ranger or that sort of thing. Being a horticulturalist, I work at the cellular level to the macro to the full plant level. And my work has been in hydroponics mostly, in greenhouses. But the sampling and testing I have done has been similar to what's going on in greenhouses or in grow rooms, looking at pesticides, contaminants, mold, mildews, all the nutrients and everything else involved in plant production. So if I was in Indiana or Ohio, it would be an agricultural science degree.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But the question of 6 years of animal experience, does kind of come up. So again, I'm nothing against any of you. We're trying to set a pretty high bar here. I know I am. So anybody else any comments? Ready to vote?
I don't want to, at this point, say no. I'm trying to think how to remedy some of my concerns to the delegation. I'm certainly not confident that I could say in delegation, you need to spend a lot more time detailing out your 6 years experience or your 12 years experience, and then who would review that to say that really is laboratory management, that is understanding the actual tests. At the same time, I don't know if staff has that. I don't know if that's a delegation that would go to the lab group that we would have them review, and could they specifically test the qualifications of the proposed director and get it back to us? Is that part of the delegation? And I don't want to say no, because then they have to start over. But I'm trying to figure out how to address my concerns about the lab director's qualifications and how specific he should be to review that to alleviate my concerns.
Instead of delegation, could you consider tabling to have additional information submitted to the board for the board to review?
Well, I thought about that, but I don't know that I'm any more qualified to review the current resume versus a beefed-up resume in terms of whether or not I would feel comfortable that met the requirements. You get a different level of comfort if they come in with a PhD in chemistry than you do if they come in with a bachelor's degree and 6 years of experience in greenhouses and going out driving 300 miles a day to, collect samples in the field versus being able to run the sophisticated tests that we think we're going to do. So bringing a beefed-up resume and more explanation doesn't necessarily allow me to review it, because I don't know that I'm qualified to review it. So that's where I'm struggling.
The problem is that the regulations say, for an individual scientific director with a bachelor's degree in chemical or biological sciences with at least 6 years post-degree laboratory experience. So even if you were to send this to someone else, say members of the testing working group or one of the other state labs, they're not sure what you want any more than I think maybe you're sure what you want, but ultimately the board is the regulatory authority. So this may be something that the board wants to work on in terms of being a little, I think probably some changes proposed for application submittal for testing labs I'm kind of anticipating from the working group. But I think, you know that what you do see doesn't satisfy you. So perhaps with additional information, you'll at least find yourself more satisfied?
Well, that's a possibility. My brother's got a PhD in soil scientist and worked in analyzing low-level nuclear waste disposal in soils. I would no more trust him in the lab to analyze potency of THC. Given what I know about his particular background, he's smart, but all of his lab experience is on nuclear waste disposal in soils at a Hanford reactor plant in Washington, or teaching people how best to raise peppers in New Mexico, because he went to work for the University of New Mexico State. That does not qualify him to be in a lab. I don't know how I feel. But if it will help us move along, I would motion that we table this and that we request a more detailed explanation of the lab director's direct lab experience and bring it to the August meeting and see if that alleviates my concerns. If that works.
I would second that. Do you have any discussion?
Yeah.
Oh, and I had one. And so, excuse me, sir, what was your name again? Jeff. And so, Jeff, do you know any of the deans of the sciences at UAF? That's my alma mater as well, and so I know it's a pretty tight-knit community.
Most of them are retired since I graduated.
And
I was working under Carol Lewis. Fred Husby.
And that could be something to maybe clarify some items for both myself and Mr. Jones is if you were able to get some sort of recommendation or an endorsement from anyone from the hard sciences division there that says yes, this laboratory experience would match of regulations, or I believe that this person would be capable to be the director of said equipment. I think that could go a long way towards us approving this versus tabling it in the future.
Mr. Chair, did you also want to have the applicant provide copies of the SOPs to be provided to the board members?
Yeah.
Equipment layout?
Equipment layout. It's just in the terms diagram, it's just a wall diagram. There's a listing, yes, of the equipment in here, but it doesn't say how the, so we can see what the flow is, the workflow in the laboratory is. So, okay, so the motion is to table until the August meeting, pending receipt of additional delineation, I suppose, of your laboratory experience, copies of the SOPs, and a floor plan layout that shows the equipment location in the building. All right. So what on that, Mr. Jones? Mr. Miller? Mr. Emmett?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much. We'll see you now. It'll take 10 minutes. I thought you were the answer. Okay, all right. Drum roll, please. Yes, 326. So we will go. We'll go back on the record. It was suggested rather gently that we might want to consider going till 5. See how it goes. See how the rhythm goes. What do we got? We got a couple of manufacturings. So that could bring us up to 5. Is Cold Creek or Baker Alaska here? Just checking. Okay. All right. Good. Okay, so we are on tab 30, which is Peak Analytical, who have joined us at the table. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Tim Jerzak.
Kara Jerzak.
Okay, we'll get things started. We get a motion, license 15590.
And motion to approve license 15590 with delegation.
Okay, there's a second. Okay, very good. You folks from Ketchikan, we got your application here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves to us. I mean, a little more than just your names, and tell us what you're all about.
Kara Jerzak, proposed scientific director and owner. Tim's an owner as well. We hope to bring some commerce down to Southeast Alaska and fill a gap as far as having a reliable testing facility down in Southeast and provide a service to the community and make sure that the products are safe for the consumers.
Okay, and please don't expect some third degree. As we said, testing is really important. It's what hangs there. So we got your resume here. What qualifications do you bring as laboratory director?
I have a bachelor's degree in environmental engineering, which is a close relative to chemical engineering. Sometimes some schools, depending on how they set up the engineering programs, have those two linked or closely related. And then a master's degree in civil engineering with an emphasis in environmental.
Okay, and you get those two magic letters after your name. You're professional engineer?
Correct.
In the state of Alaska?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Civil engineer?
Civil and environmental.
Licensed environmental engineers?
We don't have, state of Alaska doesn't have a license for environmental. It's
so
kind of a subcategory.
Your stamps from the Board of Civil Engineers?
It says civil. So
okay, all right, very good, very good. And do you have any scientific background? Do you have any work in just driving the boat? Okay, you've got a pretty comprehensive. Well, let's talk about your laboratory experience. 9 years of post-baccalaureate laboratory work. So laboratory assistant at R&M, laboratory instructor at Colorado State, and laboratory assistant at R&M. And what kind of was that civil engineering type of laboratory work? Was that soil analysis, or what do you have going on there?
Analytical chemistry. That's the environmental engineering aspect of it. Also, bioremediation, biology, as far as a remedial way to clean the environment.
Didn't do any nuclear waste work.
No nuclear waste.
Okay. But actually, that
should not have been about my brother.
No, you weren't. I've got a lot of respect for the nuclear industry, and anybody that is in there knows what they're doing. Okay. You do have in the package here in your tab 6. It's very comprehensive. You've got your SOPs in here, and what do you got? You're in a pretty narrow building, a little bigger than Climax, bigger than Red Box for sure.
It's 1,200 square feet or thereabouts.
Okay. How big a staff would you anticipate having?
3 to 4 employees.
All right. Are you planning on doing any transportation, or is it going to be? I see you've got a counter at front, so you're kind of expecting a lot of walk-up traffic.
That's correct. We do not expect to transport any marijuana product, just receive.
Okay, you got all your instruments already, or are you waiting on?
We do.
You do.
We're fully operational at the moment.
Okay. Have you operated them? Have you analyzed THC content on gifts or what you purchased? Have you had an opportunity to run your procedures both on flower and leaf and manufactured products?
Yes, sir. We purchased products from one of the local retailers, and so we've been testing against the numbers that are on the packages. Not sure which testing facility they use, but anyways, we're coming really close to the numbers that are shown on the packages.
Okay, what are your thoughts on the desk audit? You had a chance to look at that?
The what?
The desk audit that was done on laboratories. That it's in the packet here. Of course, you don't have that, but we talked about that earlier. It was done by DEC. Yeah. They looked at the results of the two laboratories that were operating at the time. Have you had a chance to look at that?
I haven't read it in full, but I'm very familiar with the concerns and problems that the industry is trying to deal with.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll ask a couple of the qualifying questions. I know you guys actually do have your equipment listed here. Can you describe to the board how either a gas chromatograph or a liquid chromatograph works? You can pick one.
Sure. So the liquid chromatograph, it works in a liquid form, and so you have a sample and an auto sampler takes a liquid sample, runs it through at high pressures, and then it uses a mobile phase, which is a combination of solvents and water, and the mobile phase helps carry the liquid sample through the instrument, and then it goes through a column that's specified. We're using a Restec ARC-18 Raptor column, specified for marijuana products, and then it goes through a variable wavelength detector, and that's what reads out and makes the peaks in the chromatograph.
Can you explain how you analyze those peaks and how you tell what part is the THC and other cannabinoids from the background noise?
Yep. The column comes with a chromatogram that's published from the manufacturer, and so then you use standards obviously for your calibration, and once you calibrate the instrument, now the instrument uses the areas under the peaks that you calibrated with and does the calculation for you thereafter on your sample that you're analyzing.
Cool, thanks.
Have you visited any other marijuana laboratories either in Alaska or downstate?
I have not.
And what sort of industry professional standards certifications would you be subscribing to or anticipating to?
Well, none are currently required, so I really hadn't thought about getting any accreditations, but I mean, there's still organizations out there that offer them nationally, and if the board, would like to see that, we can certainly try to pursue accreditation.
I'm just, curious more from your professional aspirations.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a pretty comprehensive application package here, and we do have a fairly substantial, good number of rural cultivators down southeast. Have you talked to many of them? Are they anticipating not having to travel quite so far to get tested?
They are very excited about the prospect of our lab opening.
And just two of the owners, right?
I'm sorry?
Just the two of you are the owners.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I guess we're ready to vote then. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Emmett?
Yes.
And I'll be a yes, so there you go.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing some good results.
Good. Time for the staff.
Go ahead.
Basically, I guess we just approved with delegation. The delegation includes the review by the outside company before.
A2LA. Yes.
Okay. How long a process does that take? If they've already got the equipment, they've already been operating, they got SOPs, what kind of time frame are we talking? Because initially, we had a testing that we approved in Juneau, and they said they had the equipment, and then I think those people came up, but nothing ever came of it.
That particular licensee has never indicated that they're ready for the A2LA review.
So it's never been reviewed by the outside?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're waiting on them. If these individuals were to come in tomorrow and say, yeah, we're ready, I mean, it would depend on A2LA's schedule, but I think things can be done in the next, I assume sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. Have you already been talking to A2LA? Yeah.
And that's different from the enforcement going in to do that inspection.
Correct.
But you need the lab inspection from your group before the enforcement will go in and actually do it, right? Or is it?
I would assume so, because I think we like to, assuming everything's fine with the inspection, we like to hand them their license, and we wouldn't do that before the A2LA inspection, so yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to time frame here, so they understand too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Was it 2 to 3 weeks for the first inspection, or what is that for the?
Well, so when you're ready for A2LA, I mean, we'll need to contact them and see what their availability is. But in my recollection, working with the Wasilla lab, was that they didn't, they may not be able to come tomorrow, but that they weren't like, oh, we can't come for 6 months. I mean, it wasn't something like that. So I can't commit to what their schedule is because I haven't talked to them recently.
Okay. And what is the time frame generally for the AMCO inspector?
We can usually get someone within a couple of days.
Okay. Wonderful.
But once you let us know you're ready. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, best of luck.
Okay, brings us to North Star Fire. North Star Fire here. They're on the phone.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Up at the front table.
Daniel Dean for North Star Fire, and I believe Kirsten Hagen is on the telephone.
Who is Ms. Hagen?
Hi, this is Kirsten Hagen.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, we have a motion on license 13479.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, motion to approve license 13479 with delegation.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Emmett, seconded by Mr. Miller. Okay, Ms. Hagen, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves to us and tell us what you have in mind here.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Hagen. I have a small cultivation in mind with possible future expansion into manufacturing and retail.
Okay, so you're applying for a standard cultivation. 700 square feet. Okay. Let me ask you about the name. Has there been any concern raised by the North Star Fire Department, Volunteer Fire Department? Are they concerned about this at all? Are they aware of the use of the name?
Kirsten, can you get the board?
They are.
Yeah.
They are in contact with Chief Crouch of the North Star Volunteer Fire Department. I gave him my reason for naming the establishment, what I named it, and that I would like to work with him as my as a charitable cause to raise money for their fire department, and he's pretty excited about that, and informed me that because it is volunteer fire department, they can take charitable donations
Okay, so they're not afraid, they're not concerned somebody's going to call you when their house is on fire instead of calling them.
Chief Crouch did not. He said that I think in the book they don't actually go by four-star volunteer fire, they go by North Pole something. I can't exactly remember, but he did bring that up, and I asked him about that too. We spoke at length, and he didn't seem concerned. No.
Okay, very good. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, some clarification. I think people should call 911 if their house is on fire. From my experience with the firefighting community there in Fairbanks, myself being a former member of that community, I would assume that most of the chiefs there have been fairly supportive of the industry, and certainly all the volunteer fire departments are happy to take donations. So I haven't heard anything from my neck of the woods or my contacts in the firefighters union that there's any gripe with North Star Fire, the business from the North Star Fire Department.
Mr. Chair. Very convoluted because I can't bounce back and forth here. But on the MJO2, when I look at the drawing that's below the actual photograph, it shows an existing two-story building that's vacant. Then it shows an arrow that says a licensed premises, which is a standalone building, 30 by 36. But this also points to this sort of L-shaped building. And on the MJO4, it talks about expanding in Phase 2 with a new building. And something about a layered building or something, MJ14 or 15, continuous license. So I'm trying to figure out if the existing building is one outline in red that sort of stands off by itself. If you're going to expand in Phase 2, does that involve any of the other buildings? Are you building something new connected to that? I can't quite understand where the plans are.
Sure. And that was addressed in our incomplete letter too. That was a little confusing. But the little building, the 30 by 36, that building is for this license. And that's what we first tried to show is that's how the phases were going to go. But AMCO staff said we appreciate that, but can you just show us in red the building that's existing that this is going to go into? And then later applications you'll see that have been initiated but not submitted. The retail and the manufactured is going to go into that L shape, and then later maybe we'll expand the cultivation. It's one license, or it's one address, and it's owned by Kirsten's dad. And so the idea is to phase into a little bit larger, but AMCO didn't want to see the phasing. So then we just did that around that on the as-built. Kirsten, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think you covered that pretty well.
Well, then on the photograph right above that, it shows a blue and white building surrounded by blue, which doesn't look like the little licensed premises. It doesn't look like any of the drawings below. Am I missing something? What on that photograph is the licensed premises? The little white thing up at the top, or?
That's an old Google Earth image, and that just shows that whole box, the whole square. So the whole square is a property, but if you see a little white square to the, I guess to your right.
That's the one I asked. I said that little white one.
Oh, yeah, the little white one. Sorry, yeah, the little white one. I was looking at that one.
Because that seems to be a pretty far distance away from the other building, which the drawing didn't show. So right now, all you're applying for is for standard cultivation in this 38 by 36 or 30 by 36 building that sits on the corner, and it is totally fenced in. Is the building fenced in or not?
Not the building, the parcel, right, Kirsten?
Yeah, the property, the entire property.
The parcel, so the big square, the big red square. Correct.
But the actual restricted access building. The licensed premises is not separately fenced.
It's not separately fenced.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? You're the only LLC, Sagan?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask one more question?
Go right ahead.
I noticed this was a sole proprietor, and maybe I misheard Ms. Welshane, but she said that this person's father owned this?
Owned the property.
Oh, and so that's part of the lease then?
It's in the lease, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. You're gonna be your plan is to cultivate to supply your retail and your manufacturing operation.
If it gets to that point.
And join the market there and everything.
Yes.
How many strains do you think about having?
Could you say again?
Say, how many strains are you thinking about cultivating?
I haven't come up with a number at this point exactly, but I would guess around 15.
Okay. All right, anybody else got any other questions? Okay, then on approval of license 13479, I guess we'll vote. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Rabbit?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Kirsten. Have fun now.
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, darn, she didn't know, but we didn't know that. We didn't know that. Okay, Alaskan Farms, are they here?
Dan Alteen for Alaskan and John Wright is on the phone.
Okay. Good afternoon. We have a motion with regard to license 13785, Alaskan Farms.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I motion to approve license number 13785 with delegation.
Okay, motion from Mr. Rabbit. Is there a second? Okay, this, I've lived in the state for 5 or 6 years. Where the heck is Nakudi?
Nakudi. We're on the north side of Willow Island here in southeast.
Oh, okay. So, you're not a floating log yet.
No, just an island.
Well, there's an enforcement there, so, okay, go ahead and introduce yourself to us, sir, and just fill us in on what you got in mind.
Okay, well, my name is John Wright. My wife and I started this about 15 months ago. We leased some property, we felled the trees, we made lumber out of the trees, we've been building and building. Been a long process, but I grow a good product. I used to sit down medically down in Oregon. I had a couple booths and some dispensaries down there, and this is over 5 years ago. And I'm looking forward to getting back into this. I had a heart attack, died October 16 of 16, and I was only married for 3 weeks prior to that, so my motivation has been I want to leave my wife if something happens to me again. I'm going to build her a home, so she'll be taken care of. So that's kind of my motivation for doing this.
Okay, sorry to hear about your heart attack. I'm glad you're here with us today.
I am.
So you're going to be cultivating, I guess, for the export market.
No retail. We're starting a retail store also down in the city of Craig, which is here also on Willow Island. It's called
the road to Craig?
Yeah, we're about 60 miles away from Craig.
Was that a 1-6?
66.
Yeah, former logging roads that you can...
They paid all the way from Nakudi to Craig now, so that's not too bad.
Right. It's not something DOT maintains.
Okay, and so you got a pretty small, we got here, we got couple hundred square foot, 300 square foot. What do you, your experience, say your experience growing medical downstate, so you're probably got a pretty good idea of what you're going to be growing.
Yeah, I've been collecting seeds, so I have about 80 of those strains. We'll see how all that goes, but I have, I think, about 86 strains I've been putting together.
Okay, let me ask you a question we don't get to ask very often. How much of a hassle was it for you to get the signatures you needed, because you're not with a municipality? How did that work out?
Well, I had to go door to door, and being in a small community, there's only 100 people at a high note here, and that's including children. So I went door to door, and I know most people. I only had a few people that weren't thrilled with it, and then most people are, and they're backing me pretty good. You know, they know there's going to be jobs, and the community's looking forward to it.
Okay, so you've got. I'm looking at one of the objections here from Mr. Folger. We've got a couple of objections here. Have you had an opportunity to speak to your neighbors that are objecting to your application?
Well, Mr. Folgers isn't a neighbor. He owns some properties right to the left of the site, and the folks that rent that are good friends of mine, and they're all for it. So as far as Mr. Folgers, yeah, he doesn't live in the town. He lives in another community.
Okay, how about Stewart's objection?
Yeah, there were two other people, I think. Both of them live quite a ways from me, but I know both. You know, like I said, there were some objections that we're so isolated, and we got this, it's far away from many kids. We meet all those requirements and everything. The main thing in this is they basically base it on religious, and it wasn't in their deal, but on their faith, and that's fine. But that's the main reason why those few of those objections are there.
Okay, and you're leasing the properties within a state home site subdivision, if that is?
It's not. There's only a few homes out there. It's not really developed. There is Kitty, and then there lives to the left of us, and then the nearest neighbor is a quarter-mile away after that. And then she's looking forward to a job too. So.
Okay. One thing we don't have on here is kind of a frame of reference, geographical reference, a Google Earth picture or something. I'd like to add that to delegation. Get just a little broader overview. I'm not.
So you want to show you want me to show the location where we are on the island?
Kind of a close-up shot of Nakudi, so we can see what Nakudi looks like.
Nakudi, yeah, okay.
Okay.
There should be some maps that I turned in.
We did submit something, John. I didn't see it in the tab, though.
For the record, Mr. Chair, the map can be found in MJ12, which is in that.
All right. Okay, thank you. I see you got a lot of signatures there.
Yeah. I only had about 14 people in the whole community that weren't for it, and the majority, and everybody else is totally backing me.
Okay. But you are thinking about putting a. You said you're thinking about putting a retail in there.
Well, that'll be down in Craig, which is 60 miles from the house. Yeah, and we just I believe I turned in all my paperwork and the fees to Janice this last week, so we we should be in there into the AMCO office pretty quick.
Oh, for the retail. Okay, well, that's whole.
For the retail store, yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I have letters of intent from like Stony Moose and stuff for product. So
that's fine. That's neither here nor there. I just wanted to see where. So there's a school there in Knockety.
Yeah, that's over a half mile away from
about 100.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions?
Sheriff?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to address and one of the objections here. There seems to be some issues raised by Mr. Folger about land use, stating that the land is currently still owned by the state of Alaska DNR, but then he goes on to say that the applicant clear-cut the property in opposition to Alphabet Soup land sales agreement between Mr. Hills and the Alaska Department of Natural Resources. So have you guys addressed these land use issues, or does the staff have any concern that Mr. Folger's land use issues that he raises may be legitimate? So I guess question for the applicant.
Right away, Josh Hills, they went, as soon as we found Mr. Folger's, as soon as we received that notice, they went and they paid the property off. It is no longer owned by any part of the state. They own it outright.
There was a purchase agreement, and there was outstanding money owed on it, and so as soon as Mr. Folger raised this, they went ahead, the landowner paid it off, owner free and clear, and so...
Yes.
So one of these objections refers to a daycare center that's not more than 500 feet of property.
Well, see, that person was wrong. They have my residence. I live right across the street from the daycare, but the grow facility is over a half mile away from our house. So they were wrong in what they were stating as the location of the grow. They're not correct. It's not on Huckleberry Drive. It's out on Bayview Drive, and it's lot 7, block 8.
Yeah, just a little mix-up. They just put the wrong address, I think.
Okay, let me ask, is there anybody from Knockety online that would like to comment on this application? Okay, I don't know if you have anybody from Knockety online. All right, any more questions?
Yeah, now that you're done. Prince Wales Island, your electrical source is APT, but I also noticed on your diagram you had a generator. And in terms of internet access, in terms of being current with metric, how does all that work there in terms of winter access, readily internet? Do you have a lot of power outages? Do you have a lot of internet slowdowns, things that would delay reporting into metric and those kinds of things? First time we've had one that's pretty remote. So if you could explain APT and their providing of that service.
Yeah, we're getting our power and from AT&T. I haven't decided, and every once in a while during the winter we will have an outage, and that's why I have a backup generator. I haven't decided if I'm going to use them for internet or if I'm going to use HughesNet, and just because of the reason that you mentioned, I don't want any downtime. We haven't had downtime on the internet, only once. That was about a year and a half ago, but we did have a short power outage when we had a windstorm down here and it blew some trees across our power line here in town. So
Then my next question is, a lot of your forms, when you talk about security, says, you know, the standard, I will notify the local police. State troopers are in Craig, I assume.
Yes.
Is Port Protection, Point Baker, Thorn Bay currently have VPSOs, and do they respond, or is it strictly out of Craig? You know, sort of how fast is that kind of public safety response, and where would it come from?
Yeah, well, it's going to come from the state police through Craig. I just talked to them about a week and a half ago. I got their main number that, you know, I told them I want to be able to get a hold of them, what's going to be the best way. So we talked for a while on a plan of what to do. And so he gave me a number that will be the quickest way for me to contact them directly. But still, you know, and that is an issue. I do, as soon as I start making some money, we're going to gate the place. I don't have a fence around it. But we have, you know, anyway. So they said about 45 minutes to an hour, best response time. And so that's what we're looking at. Now we have neighbors and people, you know, that since there's only a few roads, people are going to be aware and watching. You know, for strange cars, we're always doing that here in town. But response time on them at a good time would be 45 minutes.
And you used to be a volunteer firefighter, right?
Yes, I was a firefighter EMT for 10 years down in Oregon. I broke my back on a fire.
I wasn't so much worried about fire, because, I mean, the villagers take care of that. I was more worried about a lot of the other potential. I know Point Baker, Port Protection, Coffin Cove, Thorn Bay, they oftentimes have a lot of transients in the summer, fishing boats. How much transient population do you have in the summertime in and out in terms of, you know, fishing fleet or some of the shellfish farming? Is any of that near you? And what does that do to your security if you have a bunch of people that you don't know in and out of the community?
Well, we have snowbirds here more than transient fishermen and stuff. And that's, you know, a lot of the older folks. But no, I'm so isolated out there and stuff. We're set away from any of the dock. I'm about a mile away from the dock at least. There's not enough transient here. I know we don't really have any, just like I guess the snowbirds.
Okay. And in one of your forms, you said you were waiting on the power to be delivered from APT to the site. Is that delivered yet?
Correct. And I had Tom's Electrical install power. So it's done by a professional company.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, we good? All right, and we'll vote on license 1375. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Emmett?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate that.
Good thing. Okay, so moving right along to license number 13310, AK Cultivation. What up? Okay.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Madam Chair, motion to approve license number 13310, AK Cultivations, with delegation.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, very good. Go ahead and introduce yourselves to us, gentlemen.
I'm Justin Bacher.
Charles Campbell.
I guess you're AK Cultivations.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what you got in mind.
All right, well, we're planning on starting just a small grow and then maybe in the future move on to manufacturing. It's just sort of a dream, I guess.
All right, you got your facility up? You got your grow built? Or?
We are built for the most part. We have a few small things. It shouldn't take more than a couple of days to deal with.
Okay. And whereabouts are you guys located at?
We're in Waukeilla off of Vine Road, close to Vine Hollywood intersection.
Okay. And whose house is this in?
It is in my home.
Okay. Anybody else live there?
Charles.
Okay, well, you guys both live there, okay. Alrighty. So what do you, what kind of market are you planning on growing for?
We're planning on growing for the retail market and then also for manufacturing.
Okay. Any questions for?
Yeah, so you guys are familiar with plant growth cycles, lights, electricity requirements, that kind of stuff. You feel confident you can pull it off?
Yeah, that, and I grew up in Southern Illinois. I grew up at a garden center. My grandparents owned it until I was 18, and I moved up here.
You know,
it's not the same as that. I don't realize that.
But you're familiar with all the hardware. Yeah. Okay. That's your diagram looked like it was laid out, like you knew how to grow plants. Just to ask. Okay, cool.
Sure. We just did 3 applications in the Matsu that I see local government response is pending. So I guess the question is, if you paid your application fee, where are you at in your conditional use permit, and what was one of the others, something, bed tax or other stuff owed? I was trying to think of the checklist of the last 3. Where are you in all of that? Or are we going to approve this with delegation and then the borough's going to come back in a couple of weeks and say you haven't done X, Y, Z?
Are you saying on the application fee for AMCO or for the borough?
What I saw on the borough stuff, it talked about an application fee, it talked about a business license, it talked about a conditional use permit. All I'm saying is we just did 3 that the Matsu boroughs come in after we've done approval. I'm asking you, are you in the process of the CUP? Have you got your business license? Are any of those going to come back?
We have the business license. We're currently waiting for the inspector for fire marshal to come by. And then we also, since fire marshal hasn't come by, we'll need a conditional use permit.
So basically what you're saying is we approve you with delegation. In another couple of weeks, the Matsu Borough is going to protest because of things you haven't gotten completed yet, not that you haven't started it.
Yes, sir.
So I see you're using kind of a very pro forma partnership agreement. Have you gotten any legal advice on your organization?
No,
I would just recommend that you go and buy an hour of attorney's time to look at this company you're doing, see if they've got any suggestions. Everybody seems to be going LLC for various reasons. They can be a little more protective, for the parties involved. I'm not trying to generate business for any lawyers, but I would just say that I haven't seen one like this, a little partnership like this come in. So you might want to go and spend a couple of bucks. Talk to a lawyer. Otherwise, this is fine. Okay. Anybody else got any questions, comments?
I would just make right on that Matsu Borough limited cultivation. You don't need a conditional use permit. So you might.
Okay, so we'll just be waiting on the fire marshal then.
I was just going to say it might be worth that couple extra bucks you mentioned to go talk to somebody.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I can't remember whether we told the board this or whether I've been about to tell the board this, but we had a meeting with people in the pesticide program at DEC, I don't know, a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And, I'm sorry? Okay. And we are, I don't know if you're aware of, DEC has a list of approved pesticides, well, a list of pesticides that are not prohibited for use on marijuana. As you know, pesticides are regulated by the EPA, and the EPA doesn't send out a list of, or doesn't approve pesticides for marijuana use. But anyway, we are working on developing processes by which cultivation facility licenses will be forwarded to DEC for review on the pesticides. And I'm really not good at telling like the difference between a pesticide and a fertilizer, and a fertilizer that has pesticide and that sort of thing. But I saw this garden insect spray, Spinus and A&D on your application, and I don't see it on the list, but that doesn't mean it's not there. But I was going to recommend to the board that you have the applicant check in with, as part of the delegation, check in with DEC that with the pesticide program, Karen Hendrickson is very available to look at these things, to check that their chemicals are appropriate.
Okay, is that something you purchase here in Alaska? It is. Okay, so that would assume that it'd be an approved list anyway, if it's for sale here in the state. But no, I agree. Listen to what the director says. Yeah, that goes for everybody, including us. Okay. Anybody else? I said including us. Including us. Listen to everybody to the right of me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'd go spend an hour with a lawyer and go over with you. Something you good on the conditional use permit. Follow up on the pesticide. And let's see now. I don't look at your security information has all been gone over by they submitted that with their diagram and all looks good. Okay. All right, yeah, see, that's the nice thing about that is now we can't go and say, well, that camera's off by 3 degrees until enforcement goes out and says the camera's off by 3 degrees. Okay, anybody else got any comments, questions about these this program? Okay, then on license 13310 AK Cultivations for approval. Mr. Jones? Yes. Mr. Miller? Yes. Mr. Remmett? Yes. And I'm a yes, so there you go.
Good luck, fellas.
Thank you. Okay, Northern Dreams, license 13752. Line up.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve license number 13752 with delegation.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, moved seconded.
So,
good afternoon.
Sarah Williams, President Phoenix Rising. Andrew Wessel, Northern Dreams on the phone.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Mr. Wessel, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what you got in mind.
Andrew Wessel with Northern Dreams. Doing a limited cultivation.
If I recall correctly, the board, this was the one that the board had reviewed, and then there was a notice issue, and so they had to go back and redo the notice. So you have looked at this before.
Okay, and the notice issue has been resolved?
Yes.
Okay. And I have any other, I think the only issue we had, eh? So, I guess
That's all in additional.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we've got a question from Mr. Jones. He's much more thorough than I am on these, so.
Excuse me, my notes indicated, and I guess either I didn't see the lease or, but I do see it here. So your parents live on the property. So your house, if I remember the diagram, is at the front part of the property land. Your licensed premises is back behind your parents' house. So is this the lease that I now see on the state's computer? That is between you and your parents, so your parents own the property?
Yes, my parents own the property, and it's between me and my parents.
So it might be best to explain it in a different way. When you first come onto the property, there's one house, and that one house at the front his parents currently live in. Then there's the larger house to the left, and that house is where he and his family live in, and then behind that would be the 982, pardon me if the number's not perfect, square foot facility that he would be growing in. But it's all owned by his parents, so the lease agreement is with the parents.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the premises diagram, and I'm looking at, I don't know, the last page, and it shows shared driveway, and then it shows my place, and then it shows my parents' place, and then it shows the proposed cultivation site. So it looks like from this diagram, you come down the shared driveway, and you have my place on the right, my parents' place on the left, and cultivation behind my parents' place, which is not the description you just gave me.
So, okay. So, Andy, when I look at this diagram, I think to myself, did you guys move to the smaller house? Or are you still living in the larger house?
No, we still live in a larger house.
Okay. So, do you own the house then in the front that your parents are living in? Or do they also own that? Wait, you own that?
No, I own that.
Okay, so there.
Yeah,
so his place he owns in the front one that his parents live in. His parents own the other place, but he and his family live in that. Make sense?
No.
Yeah, well, my dad,
when I look at the lease document, you know, the lease is with Donald and Dixie Wessel. I assume that's Andrew's.
My parents.
Okay. Well, if he owns property, then how are the parents leasing to him?
So he owns the first house?
Yeah, it's two different properties.
But not the two back pieces, so it's two different properties, right?
Yeah.
So it may look like it's one big parcel, you know, in the drawing, but it separates right there at your place line, is that correct, Andrew? And then the back parcel is your parents.
And I would simply ask, and part of the delegation is that the premises diagram get more clearly defined and show the relationship related to the lease, who owns which buildings, please.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, other than that, that's my question.
Okay, yeah, the only other thing I asked for is a Google or a picture or something, because it doesn't show what roads it connects to.
Yeah.
It doesn't show who's nearby or anything like that.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay. The building's already there, and the cultivation building is owned by your parents, which is the other houses are you leasing for them as a cultivation building?
Yes.
All right, okay, very good. Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, I guess we'll vote on license 13752, Northern Dreams. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Emmett?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
And it is 4:20. Thank you.
There you go. That too, huh? Okay, moving right along. Alaska Pharmacy with an F. Is the phone Mr. Elliott? Charles Elliott? No sign.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I have a motion to table license number 13910.
Okay, there's a second. All right, all those in favor of tabling license number 13910, Alaska Pharmacy, until next meeting? August meeting?
August.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So he's tabled. All right, Cold Smoke Farms, Michael Welch. Mr. Welch, are you on the line?
This is Michael Welch on the phone.
Okay, very good. Thank you for joining us.
Mr. Chair, motion to approve license number 15190 with delegation and Kenai Peninsula borough conditions.
Okay, moved and seconded by Mr. Emmett, Mr. Miller. Okay, Mr. Welch, go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what you're all about.
Yeah, my name is Michael Welch. I have a home just outside of Soldotna city limits. I have an attached garage on my own that I'd like to use as a limited cultivation facility.
Okay. It looks like you're in a pretty built-up residential neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a small subdivision, but there's probably two of my neighbors are within 100 feet or so.
Okay. Nobody's. I don't see any objections in here. So your neighbors are all aware of what you got in mind.
Yes, and one of my neighbors is us, like, actively growing right now. He's been approved. He's just across the road.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to make sense of your interesting diagram here. We find the rotate button. I haven't seen one quite like this. Okay, so this is an attached garage.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't give us a lot of frame of reference to the rest of the house there. In fact, I don't think does this show. Okay, there's one door from inside, so you got access from inside the house.
I do.
Is that the only communication to the interior of your house?
That is, yes.
Okay, you got any kids in the residence? Children?
I do. 2 small children.
Okay. That door will be kept locked at all times, the interior door?
Yes, it has a self-locking lock on it, so every time it shuts, it locks, and you got to put in a code on the electronic keypad to open it up.
Okay. And the exterior probably the same way?
Yes, the exterior doors.
Any windows in the garage?
There is one window. I believe you can barely see it on the picture. It'd be on the top side and kind of pink or what. There's a window there.
Yeah. Okay, is that going to be covered up?
That has blackout film on the glass, as well as a set of blinds and a couple window locks.
All right. This is a pretty small garage. This is not even 20 by 20.
It's about 20 by 20. Yeah, about 440 square feet.
All right. And what do you plan on cultivating for?
Mostly retail and manufacturing of, maybe the trim and the smaller flower.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. When I look at the photograph on the premises diagram, and you have it drawn in a pin to where the garage is, it looks like there's sort of a cul-de-sac at 2 or 3 of the homes. But for your home, your access is off Commerce Street, not off Libra or whatever?
That's correct. It's right off Commerce Street.
Okay. And the other question is, what's the camera coverage of the door from your house into the licensed premises? Do you have a camera inside your house focused on that door, or only if somebody goes through the door, would you have a camera from the inside?
Actually, right now I have both. I do have a camera pointing at the outside of the door. There's even one outside my front door, which really isn't a part of the proposed premises. But yeah, I have one on both sides of the doors.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, and license 15190 Coastal Farms, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Miller. Mr. Emmett?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thank you very much.
It's about 4:30 now. We've got, we're next up is product manufacturing. Let's. I don't have any problem with 5. Oh, you can take care of. Okay, you know what?
Yeah, I've got a meeting at 5:30.
Okay, yeah, all right. We're actually, I think we're making pretty decent time now.
That's fine. Can I talk to you about one thing that'll take 5 minutes?
Please.
So, as everybody knows, we're planning our August meeting in Maui, and the transportation challenging, it's very expensive, and there are no hotel rooms left. So any member of the public that's not already booked a hotel room is going to have trouble coming to that meeting. So I wanted to know whether the board, there is a statutory requirement for the marijuana board to meet at the same location as the alcohol board, as if practical, unless impractical. And we agree that maybe this is a situation where it is impractical. So I would like to know whether the board would prefer to meet in Fairbanks in August. We'll leave the alcohol board in Valley, but we'll do the marijuana board in Fairbanks.
This board member votes yes for Fairbanks. What do you guys think?
Well, either one. I mean, Fairbanks would be easier for me. I live there. I think it's imperative that the public have access to it. Denali would be more awesome, but I think Fairbanks would be a lot easier for the public to attend.
I agree. I think Fairbanks, and I think we've had several, and probably will have several extra meetings that the ABC board isn't. I mean, given the number of meetings, so where practical, we have met with them. If it makes it easier, if you guys are meeting in Denali on Tuesday and can get in and be set up for our meeting on Wednesday, that would be, fine. So it would still be a 2-day meeting, Wednesday, Thursday.
We'll have to see whether we should add a third day. I mean, I thought we could be good and have extra time, but I'm not sure we're going to now. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Fairbanks is fine with me. I think it would be easier.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
What's your guess? I guess, Sarah, what's your guess about how many licenses we would be having on the agenda?
I would have to talk to my staff, so I'm not sure, but I will remind the board that we have renewal season, and the deadline is June 30th, so I imagine there will be a lot of renewal applications on there.
Okay. We saw what Bob just down here. And not Bob down, who gave fair hearing to the NLBs, but that obviously took a lot of time. So if everybody behaves between now and then, no, I think Fairbanks is fine. Can we get the borough office again? That would be nice.
No guarantees, but I will see what I can do.
Certainly not the one out at Fish and Game or whatever we had at one time.
Yeah.
Oh, DEC?
DEC. It was cozy.
Yeah, it was cozy.
Yeah. And 3 days would be fine with me if we need to. I realize the expense and stuff, but
Fairbanks is a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah. I understand that, and so yeah, Fairbanks would be fine. And if it's 3 days, it's 3 days.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll work on that, and let's try to make some frequent announcements. So, because we've mentioned Denali already, we'll put it on our website. But thank you.
Yep.
I think if we're currently looking at 2, and you get figured out the number of applications by June 30, and look at the reg projects and see how far we've gotten here, and if you need to decide, the 5th of July, there's got to be 3 days. That's cool.
All right. I think Cold Creek might take us more than 20 minutes. Would that be a fair guess? Okay. Let me just quickly here. Is Einstein here? Yeah. How many? What do you got on there? How many? One product? Let's do Einstein real quick. But we want to get out of here as before 5 as we can. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay,
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Justin, Roland, are you there?
Let's see, he's number 44. There he is. Yes, tab 44.
Text him when we got close, and then he skips.
Okay, well, you're turning, right?
I am.
Okay. So he's just got one product on here. Let's get a motion. Take a quick look at it.
Yeah, Madam Chair. Motion to approve product Mellow Crisps or license number 10082.
Okay, a second. Okay, so it's an awful lot like a Rice Krispie treat. Only the color.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. I think we've approved a product almost identical to this for another MCB already. I can't recall whether we required the colors to be different or not, but I know Rice Krispie treat style edibles have been approved at this point.
Made with cannabis oil. Okay, does anybody have any question or issue on
The only question I had was, generally, when we approved this, they talked about, box cereal or Rice Krispies. This has crisp rice and then a whole set of ingredients. And then same with marshmallow. I was wondering if they were making their own crisp rice and their own marshmallow, or were these ingredients taken off the grocery shelf?
Justin, are you there?
I'm here, yes.
Hey, Justin, can you answer that question?
I just barely got online, so I didn't hear you.
Are you making
question again, Mr. Jones?
The question is on the ingredients list. It says crisp rice, parentheses, net list rice, sugar, salt, yada, yada, yada. And then marshmallows, parentheses, corn syrup. Most of the time we've seen add marshmallow, add Rice Krispie cereal or something. Are you making your own crisp rice and your own marshmallow, or are these ingredient lists off the store-bought that you would be using?
No, so we left it open because I didn't know what the board's going to approve. Obviously, if we could wholesale like a Rice Krispie, that's much easier for us. But if we had to toast our own rice and do it that way, our chef was prepared for it either way.
Value added. Okay, any other questions on this one? Okay, so for Einstein Labs 100082, approval of Mellow Crisps. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn or recess.
Okay, we recess until 9 a.m. in the morning.
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end.